Ka'alal Yahawashi Yahawashi Bahashim Rakachadash, all praise, honor, and glory go to the Most High Yahweh in the name of His Son, Yahawashi. And we're coming to you right now from the book of Habakkuk. And the book of Habakkuk, the third chapter, Habakkuk is saying a prayer to the Lord, and he's getting a vision. He's seeing a message from the Lord. And his message that he's getting, this prophecy that he's pertaining to us in these last days, shows us exactly what's going on today and what's going to continue to happen and what's going to accumulate to when those thermonuclear fire missiles get fired over to Babylon, which is known as America today. So if you go into the verse 15 verses, you'll see that's what he's talking about. And then I wanted to focus in on verse 16. I'm reading from the CEV, and then I'm gonna go over to another app, and I'm gonna try to see if we have some precepts concerning that. But this is Habakkuk response to Yahweh's message 3:16. It says, "When I heard this message, I felt weak from fear." And that's the question I want to ask myself, everyone. You know, once you understand what the Lord is about to do, once you understand that we have such a short time left to experience this grace. And when I mean grace, I mean, we're stuck in these bodies, this prison, this flesh. Yeah, we have a time to get right. And only His holy elect is going to take advantage of that time to try to build themselves up in these last moments. Now, as we always mention, I always mention in the script, in my videos, we're still in this flesh, so we're still gonna, go off. We're still gonna have moments where, we're tempted, gonna have doubt, all these different things that all of the followers of Yahawashi, when they were walking with Him, had them as well. Yet, who's trembling at the Lord, at the Lord's presence here right now, at all the things that are happening? If you look at the news and the Trump administration, look at all the world things going on. You see this micro C-HIP is being instituted. You see the man who wants to institute is in Trump's cabinet. You see all these things just developing. And are you still being a scoffer, a mocker? Are you still being one of those that continues to tarry? Are you continue to be one of those that are just solely drain themselves away? Are you a quitter in these last moments? Or are you trembling at the Lord and what and the prophecies that are coming to play? Habakkuk seen this, and he knew he wasn't going to experience it at that time, and he still was trembling because he realized that his people, the nation of Israel, Yasharallah, had to go through these things and see these things. And when you see your people have to go through, just the mundane situations that we have to go through, you so-called African Americans, you so-called Native Americans, you so-called Latinos, it's not necessarily a good feeling because that's your people. Yet we know these things have to happen, so we don't faint just because we see these things come into play. As a matter of fact, we rejoice and we have joy because we know that the time of our salvation is nearer and nearer if we're of the holy elect, which I pray I'm of the number of. So it's time not to be having the fear of where you want to just go back into the world and just do what you want to do, or have a fear where you just want to quit. No, you got to have a trembling feeling that, the fear of the Lord is in you, where you want to change. You want to do something to show your worth to His Son, because He's the way to the Father. It says, "When I heard this message, I felt weak from fear. My lips quivered. My bones seemed to melt, and I stumbled around." It says, "But I will patiently wait. Someday those vicious enemies will be struck by disaster." Because he realizes that, Esau, the nation of Edom, the so-called white man, is being used as the sword against his people, Yasharallah. And we know that, even though everything is ordained the way it's set up, and we're the ones that went off, we got ourselves in this trouble, Esau, Edom is going to get it. He's going to get it, and he's going to get it good. And when he gets it, that's going to be a rejoicing. Because we waited so long for this. We've been patient. We developed a sense of brotherhood. We developed a sense of obedience. We developed a heart of wanting to purify ourselves. We developed a heart of servitude, wanting to do the work of the Most High Yahweh. We built these things up while we're waiting, so that when the time comes for when it actually happens, that CHIP is instituted. Those that are going to deny it, praying about that number that deny it, even to death. We have to be on the run. Maybe we have to be circumspect about who we talk to, who we deal with. There's going to be setups going on, betrayal. All those things have to happen. So we got to understand that these things must take place so that we can get our salvation. So we shouldn't be surprised if people are falling off. We shouldn't be surprised that people don't want to serve the Lord anymore. We shouldn't be surprised with the women who don't want to follow their husbands anymore. We shouldn't be surprised with the children that switch sides and don't want to know the Lord's name. We shouldn't be surprised with the brethren that turn coat. We shouldn't be surprised with those that have the name of Yahawashi in their mouth, but are still scoffers and mockers. No, we're not surprised by these things. We can patiently continue to wait on the Lord, praying we're of that number of the holy elect. If you go over to this app right here, this is my logos app, and I'm going to go to the same scripture, verse 16. I'll start in ESV. It says, I hear, my body trembles and my lips quiver at the sound. Rottenness enters into my bones, my legs trouble beneath me, yet I will quietly wait for the day of trouble to come upon people who invade us. So it takes you over to Jeremiah 4:19. It says, my anguish, I writher in pain, oh, the walls of my heart, meaning the people of Yasharallah. It says, my heart is beating wildly. I cannot keep silent, for I hear the sound of the trumpet, the alarm of war. And Jacob's trouble is going to be the war that is of all wars. Meaning, we know we have the World War III coming, and I'm not saying that it's going to be a war fought like that, but it's really a spiritual war for those that are meant to endure until the end and go through it and come out in flying colors, still eating, still trusting in Yahawashi, still doing the work until he says not to do the work anymore, still keeping their integrity as followers and believers of Yahawashi. Takes you over to Proverbs 12:4. It says, an excellent wife is the crown of her husband, but she who brings shame is like rottenness in his bones. And this is a reference to like the elect, meaning an excellent wife, meaning those that are doing what they're supposed to be doing, but those that are not, the 2/3, they're gonna bring rottenness and to his bones. They're gonna have to get destroyed. Goes over to Psalms 94:13. It says, to give him rest from days of trouble until a pit is dug for the wicked. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for that rest, and while Yahawashi takes care of the rest of the and the myriad of angels take care of all the rest of what's going on once he returns after those thermonuclear missiles get shot off. If you go over to Isaiah 14:3-4, it says, when Yahweh has given you rest from your pain and turmoil and the hard service which you were made to serve, you will take up this taunt against the king of Babylon, how the oppressor has ceased, the insolent fury ceased. And that's what we're looking for. We're not afraid to continue to do the work, continue to labor, continue to go hard with this truth until the time of our enemy, Esau, Edom, gets destroyed. And the Lord wants this to happen. He prophesies it to happen. It's a guarantee to happen. So we just hold on and continue to patiently wait, endure, long suffer until that time happens. If you go over to the NASB, see if it has any more precepts. It says his belly trembled. It takes you over to Daniel 10:8. It says, so I was left alone and saw this great vision. So Daniel saw this vision too. Habakkuk saw it. There was many of the prophets who seen this, and they were, trembled. It says, yet no strength was left in me. You see your people have to go through all these different trials and tribulations. Unless you have a spiritual mind, it could take you out. But no matter what, you're gonna feel something because that's your people. It's not a lack of love that we have for the 2/3 or those Israelites that are chosen to be against the Father. It's not a lack of love that we have. What it is it's a determination to see the Father's will be done, because He said these things that have to happen, and these people have to be destroyed. So we're more on the Father's side when we speak like how we speak. I know that a lot of people like, we hate Jake. We can't stand the black man. And I feel the same way. Why? Because our people are just lost, and it hurts so much to where the only way it's gonna be able to get fixed is through the destruction of the 2/3. It says, for my natural color turned to a deathly pallor, and I retain no strength. That's a deep trembling. That's a feeling that only the Lord can help you get your strength back. And that's how we look at it. We're at a state where the only way we're going to be able to get our full strength back as a people is through Yahawashi, bringing on this destruction to Babylon and that land of Israeli and wherever else He decides to destroy, and establish righteousness through the new kingdom on the throne of David. Go over to it says bones. It takes you over to Job 30:17. It says, at night it pierces my bones within me, and my gnawing pains take no rest. So as you see that Job was experiencing too. He had to experience the pain and the torture of dealing with the sores and the affliction that the Father brought to him, just to show how faithful His people will be. He was using an example of that, and he gave a reference to that. We go over to verse 30 of that same chapter. It says, my skin turns black on me, and my bones burn with fever. And that's the trembling of the Lord, because when the Lord has His hand on you, or He has His hand on His people, is the Lord's way no matter what. It takes you over to Jeremiah 23:9. Another reference, false prophets denounced. It says, as for the prophets, my heart is broken within me, all my bones tremble. I have become like a drunken man, even like a man overcome with wine, because of Yahweh and because of his holy words. Because we know that these men that say that they love the Lord, they have Yahawashi's name in their mouth. There are these Christian pastors and these men who say they have a connection with the Lord or God, as they call them, don't know the name. We know that these people are going to get what they're going to get. And like I said, it's never good. It never feels great to see your people destroyed or hurt, but we know these things have to happen. And those false prophets are going to get exactly what they deserve, because they drunk the wine of deceivement, letting themselves be deceived by Esau, Edom, and his system and his ways, and taking bags. They drunk the wine of jealousy. They drunk the wine of envy. They drunk the wine of anger. All these different things that we're supposed to cease, and we're supposed to be able to be temperate about and be able to control with the spirit, but they chose the flesh. So when you choose the flesh over the spirit, and you feel like you have some knowledge, you start to spew out things out of your mouth against the men of the Lord, and these false, and you start to spew out things to people that leads them astray. And these is what these false prophets do. They have no intention in mind to bring their people to salvation. They have no intention in mind of who we really are doing this for, the holy elect. The elect is not on their mind. They're always talking about bringing people together and people being saved and all this, when the number is already counted. Those that are doing the work of Yahawashi, those that are laboring, those that He's chosen since the beginning of time, those that believe and endure to the end, are the only ones that are going to be beamed up in that chariot in the last moments of these days. So we got to continue just to have that fear of the Lord, that I want to be of that number. So I'm not just going to be talking about it, I'm going to be doing it. It says in Luke 21:19, by your endurance, you will gain your lives. That's how you make it. It's through the endurance. It's not about just lip service. It's not about just saying things and feeling like you have a great connection and with our power, the Father. It's not about the knowledge that you attain through books. It's what it is about is your endurance. Can you endure to the end? Saying Yahawashi, Yahawashi, not switching up. Not saying the Father's name is not the Father's name anymore. Not saying Yahawashi ain't black. So-called black man. It's so many different doctrines out there right now that it makes you sick to the stomach against your people, and that's how we feel. We feel like, man, why do they don't want to love Yahawashi? But we know why. They were ordained to be this way. They were designed to be the enemies and the adversaries. They're the same men that they were before. It says in Jeremiah 5:15, behold, I am bringing a nation against you from afar, O house of Yasharallah. It says, declares Yahweh. If it is an enduring nation, it is an ancient nation, a nation whose language you do not know, nor could you understand what they say. And we've been experiencing the hegemony of Esau Edom for the last 400 or 500 years in this country. First our brothers, the Northern Kingdom, was over here, and they were allowed to escape that Assyrian empire and come over here and build a new foundation over here. Yet they chose the ways of the heathen, and they allowed themselves to be caught up with different gods and different idols, and because of that, their land was taken away over here as well. Then they brought Judah over here, who wasn't doing any better over there in the Holy Land, and so much so that we had to have our Jerusalem burnt down, and then once they start chasing us around and gathering us, they sent us over here in those ships. And so when the Northern and Southern Kingdom met over here, it wasn't for any kind of glory. It wasn't for no kind of mirth. It wasn't for some kind of glory. What it was for punishment. And that's the punishment that we're receiving over here in this Babylonian nightmare called America. And until Yahawashi returns, we're going to continue to experience it. And it's going to even be hotter because Jacob's trouble is going to be the accumulation of it all. And, it's pretty bad now. It's getting worse. Yet when they institute where it's a mandatory thing or your life is on the line, that's when you'll know that these scriptures are real. And that's when most people will start to realize that the prophets were right. Let's go over to CSB. Let's see if the CSB has any precepts with that. It says Yahweh's confidence in Habakkuk's confidence in Yahweh expressed. It takes you over to Daniel 10. We already read that. I'm going to go to Revelation 1:17. It says, when I saw him, I fell at his feet like a dead man. He laid his right hand on me and said, don't be afraid. I'm the first and the last. And that's the type of trembling you want to have towards his son, Yahawashi HaMashiach. You want to be able to worship him. You want to be able to know that he has all power. And you want to be humble. You want to be, you want to attain mercy. You want to know that, that he is all powerful, given to him by his father, Yahweh, to Yahawashi. So you want to have that mindset when you go to the throne, when you go into praying. You want to be very, very meek and humble, to his power. This is Isaiah 37:3. They said to him, this is what Hezekiah says, today is a day of distress, rebuke, and disgrace. It is as if children have come to the point of birth, and there is no strength to deliver them. That's how it kind of feels sometimes in this truth. When it comes to our people, we give them the knowledge. I say I humbly, accept my role as just a helper of this, bringing this gospel forward. Doing the lessons I do, Yet when we bring this message out, it's like they just can't get it. They're right at the tip of it. They may know they're an Israelite. They may have some excitement for a moment, But Jake don't stick to it. You know, they go right back to eating pork. They go right back to sleeping around with other men's wives. They go right back to not observing the Shabbat. They go right back to saying that name JC. You know, it's like a child who can't be born. If you go to Obadiah 12, I'm sorry, Shalakia. It says, do not gloat over your brother in the day of his calamity. Do not rejoice over the people of Yahawashi in the day of the destruction. Do not boastfully mock in the day of distress. So he's talking to Esau, Edom. You know, Obadiah is a book written to Esau, Edom. And that's what, you know, the so-called white man did to us. You know, he really didn't have no love for Jacob. So, you know, he could have easily stepped in when I believe it was and the Moabites could have easily stepped in when, you know, we were being taken away on ships and we were being sent over to a foreign land. Yet they just allowed it to happen. Even helped out, you know, the Hamites and you know and other nations to bring us over to this hellhole of Babylon. Go to verse 14. It says, do not stand at the crossroads to cut off their fugitives, and do not be hard over their survivors in the day of distress. So it's like the same thing that we got, we're doing the same thing to them in that day. You know, when we get those new bodies, when we reestablish this government, we're not going to have any mercy towards Esau, Edom, ordained by the Most High Yahweh. If you go to Nahum 1:7, it says, Yahweh is good, a stronghold in the day of distress. He cares for those who take refuge in him. So the refuge that you need to experience is in the Most High Yahweh and the Son Yahawashi. Not in these systems, not in this crypto, not in this the C-HIP that he's going to institute. He's going to say he's going to be a miracle worker. He's just going to say he's going to be for your security. He's going to be for your safety. He's going to be for your medical well-being. Not these vaccines. Not anything that he tries to promote as righteous. You know, in these last moments, we don't need to be accepting that as a token of refuge. The only refuge that you need is Yahweh Hashem Yahawashi and these prophecies, and hold on to them and see them happen, and be joyful and rejoice in them, because your salvation is getting nearer. If you go over to the NIV version, so I just like to go about it this way. He brings out a lot of precepts, a lot of thoughts. If you go over to we read Job 4. Do we read Job 4? Let me see. Job 4:14 says, fear and trembling seized me and made all my bones shake. So, you know, Job was able to connect with it from what it was going on in his own body, you know, and it kind of represents, you know, what we're going to have to face and endure, because Job had to face family loss. He had to his land, you know, just pretty much dismantled, destroyed, but he ended up getting it all back because he never went against the Lord. The Psalm 37:7, it says, be still before Yahweh and wait patiently for him. Do not fret when people succeed in their ways. So right now it's at a time where everybody's jumping on that new crypto that Trump released, trying to, you know, gain a little bit of leverage in this world with money, since money is a defense. So it's always going to be a defense, but the love of money is what destroys you. So I was reading an article that said I think he made like $58 billion in one day. So everyone wants to be a part of that, and they're going to try to put their wits and their hopes into that. Yet it says don't fret over when people succeed in their ways. When we see these things, we can't just get so tempted to want to go ahead and try to deliver ourselves through that way as well, because it's going to be tempting. I'm not saying that you can't get a piece of it, but you got to be able to have the strength to not want to let that rule your life. If you go over to King James Version, I think it has the same precepts. Jeremiah 4:19, Job 13:28, there's Proverbs 12:4, same scripture. Psalm 94:13. It takes you over to Genesis 49:19. It says, Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. So, that's a prophecy that, Gad, when he was over here in the Americas, he was the toughest one to bring down because they didn't fight, so-called fair. They were technicians with their war. They were doing horseback drive-bys. They weren't just fighting with just coming straight forward. They were hiding around, shooting arrows and kill. You watched a movie. It's a movie that I just watched maybe like a couple months ago. It was at the movie theater. I forgot what it was called, and it kind of gives you an understanding of what was happening at that time. Gad was a motherfucker, man, and but in the end, Esau ended up overcoming him. It's just another prophecy right there. It's Psalms 94:21. It says, "They gathered themselves together against the soul of the righteous, and condemned the innocent blood." And it was a lot of innocent blood shed because a lot of our northern tribe members got destroyed, and got raped, robbed, and murdered. I think it was over millions. I want to say it was maybe even close to 100 million of our people died at the hand of Esau, Edom, when they were trying to take over this land. So just another prophecy, bring that out. And this is Micah 5:1. It says, "But thou, Bethlehem Ephrath, though thou be a little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of thee shall be come forth unto me that is to be ruler in Yasharallah, whose goings forth have been from old, from everlasting." It's talking about our Lord and Savior Yahawashi Mashiach, our Master, the one that we're looking to return, the one that we follow, the one that we obey, the one that we treasure, the one that we worship. Even though those say you're not supposed to worship Yahawashi, yes, we are. The Father ordains it. The Father wants us to show the same love that we have for Him, for His Son Yahawashi in these last moments. And we can't wait till He comes and and fulfill this prophecy. And then let's go over to Deuteronomy 14:1. It says, "Ye are the children of Yahweh, your power. You shall not cut yourselves, nor make any baldness between your eyes of the dead." So this is one of our laws. We're not supposed to shave our heads with razors, and it's all for our benefit. My son, his mom is not in this truth, and she gets his hair cut sometime, and every time she cuts his hair and gets his hair cut, he comes back and says, "Daddy, my head hurts. My head itches, my head hurts." And I had to let him know that I experienced that before, because I used to do that before myself, and that's what we feel. So it's for our good, but it's one of the laws that we know we're not supposed to do. So I just want to bring, just touching bases on all the precepts, and then let's go over to the NET. The NET kind of just breaks down things sometimes. As I listen, and my stomach churned, my insides trembled, as it says. It says, "The sound made my lips quiver, my frame went limp as if my bones were decaying." It says, "And I shook as I tried to walk." And it just gives you the understanding. So it just gives you an understanding of that. It says, "I long." And then it might not have no precepts with that. So let's go over to the New King James. Let's see if it brings up any precepts. It takes you to Psalm 119:120. It says, "My flesh trembles for fear of you, and I am afraid of your judgments." And that's the heart you want to have in these last days, in these last moments of these last days, man. I mean, do you hear about all the destruction that's going to come? Do you see these prophecies continue to unfold? Do you see how the men of the Lord have been saying these things and they're now happening? Doesn't that bring some kind of fear of the judgment that's going to come? For His elected will, for those that are not the elect, they're going to keep on pushing the way they push, and they're going to try to get a piece of this pie on this earth until Yahawashi comes, and they're going to love their lives more than they love Him. And this last book is the Holman. And let's see if it has any precepts. I think it's done. It's going to take you to the same ones. So I just wanted to bring out these scriptures I guess I could read Daniel 10:4. I'm gonna read 4 through 9 so we can get an understanding. It says, on the 24th day of the first month, as I was standing on the bank of the great river, the Tigris, I looked up and there was a man dressed in linen with a belt of gold from Usfa around his waist. His body was like topaz, his face like the brilliance of the lightning, his eyes like flaming torches, his arms and his feet like the gleam of polished bronze, and the sound of his words like the sound of a multitude. And that's Yahawashi Mashiach. He's seen the vision of the Lord. He's seen what he looked like. He's seen that he was a so-called black man. He's seen that he had a pigment in the skin. He's seen that he was glorious. He had that new body that we all long for. It says, only I, Daniel, saw the vision. The men who were with me did not see it. So, some are going to have a little bit more vision, more understanding of these prophecies than others. I was just reading a scripture about that, just real quick. Let's go over to this app right here. Is it right here? Let's see, which one is it? Slovakia. James 3:1 was the scripture. I think it might have been this app. No, it's this one. So it says, James 3:1, it says, by brethren, be not many masters. So everybody wasn't given the ability to teach or be, over others. It says, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation. Because you try to be a teacher, you try to be one of those that exalt yourself, and you're not really the one that's supposed to be doing that. You're going to be held to a lot of a punishment if you're not able to do it correctly in sound doctrine and truth and spirit. So we read this in real quick. Let's go to so you can understand it a little better. Let's go to that in the NLT. This is James 3:1. Once again, it says, dear brothers and sisters, not many of you should become teachers in the church, for we who teach will be judged more strictly. And it was just talking about the brothers. We know sisters can be teachers. So it says, dear brothers, not many of you should become teachers in the church, for we who teach, we judge more strictly. We have a more responsibility. And I'm saying it humbly. I was given the ability to bring out these scriptures, and I pray I'm doing it in sound doctrine and truth and spirit, sincerity, and I pray about that number. But going back to Daniel in the home, and it says, only I, Daniel, saw the vision. The men who were with me did not see, but a great terror fell on them, and they ran and hid. I was left alone looking at this great vision. No strength was left in me. My face grew deathly pale, and I was powerless. I heard the words he said, and when I heard them, I fell into a deep sleep with my face to the ground. So, it's kind of like, those that are experiencing these understandings and these prophecies and are trying to continue to endure. We're in this trance. We're in this a deep sleep, not the sleep of fools, but the sleep of being of hope for that day when Yahawashi returns and he does all the things that it says in these scriptures that he's going to do. Until that time, we continue to be in the trance and the sleep of doing the work and seeing the prophecies come into play, and continue to glorify the name of Yahawashi to the end. So, able-bodied men continue to do the work. The men that are not able-bodied continue to support the men of the Lord. Women, continue to follow your husbands, put them first. Knowing Eve sinned first. Children, continue to call on the name of Yahawashi, follow your parents in the truth. And with that, just want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to all the apostles, the elders, the teachers, the priests, the bishops that came before me and taught me this truth, starting with the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who are the true prophets of Yahawashi, who have been doing the work before the street corners, before the videos, in the libraries, getting the understanding, getting the meat that we need in these last days. They were taught by their apostles and elders before them, over 60, maybe 70 years ago, close to that time. And shalom, peace be to you, to his holy elect. Till next time, Yahweh willing, continue to pray for mercy and deliverance in these last moments.